Howdy doody, welcome back to the ranch. My name is Mick. This, my 1941 International Harvester TD-14. In the last video on this tractor, we got it up and running for the first time in over 20 years. Unfortunately, after getting it started, we discovered that we can't shift any gears. So let's fix that. If you watched the first video, welcome back. If you have not, might I recommend that you watch that one first. A lot of cool things happen with this here tractor. We got it running for the first time in over 20 years, and that did not come without its challenges. After we got it running, we were able to move it forward, but it feels like the gear shift is in neutral, and so it's not in gear per se. So I think some things are frozen up in there. I can't get it to shift in out of any of the gears. The shift lever is just kind of in the middle, kind of wobble back and forth, but that's about it. So the bare minimum plan at this point is to drain what is ever in the case. I'm suspecting that water leached in over the years, might have froze everything up with rust. That's what I'm hoping, because we could deal with that. We could drain the case, soak it down in some diesel fuel is what I brought. I'm sure I could soak it down in a multitude of things, but diesel's probably the cheapest option. But the other thing I want to see if I can do is pop the whole case, the top case off, to see down inside and see what I'm looking at, if everything's rusted over or something's broken, or you know, whatever we're dealing with. So I'd like to get a read on it. Let's jump up in the operator's chair and clean it up, because last time I was up there I noticed everything's kind of covered, if you know what I mean. Moss, grease, gunk, you name it. You name it! Let's jump up there, see what we're dealing with, and then we'll drain from there. This is the fill plug sitting here for the transmission. This is the top of the case here, and there are bolts around it, so I'm hoping I can just lift this whole assembly off. Probably take the clutch brakes off here so I can get the case off, but I don't know how this is all tied in with like the high-low and all that. But this is seized, and this only goes back and forth, you know, kind of just seems like it's stuck in the middle, but it will not go into any gear. So of course I forgot my scraper, but I'm just going to work with a screwdriver and a pry bar and see how much I can clean up around here. Obviously I don't need to do the best job, but just get it so it's not totally caked on there, and I can get to the bolts, and we'll see if we can't get this thing off. Definitely watery, but surprisingly low. Looks kind of rusty from what I can see. We need to get this cover off. Cotter keys. I've been working on two of them. One there and one there. The one came out okay-ish. Super long and super heavy duty. The other one is a framing nail bent over on top of itself, and if you look, it is really tough. Actually, the GoPro makes it look pretty easy to get in there, but it's not easy at all. I finally got the vice grip wedged in there enough. I think one more whack and I'll have it. There we go. There she is. So now I'll be able to get that other pin out. It looks like this. And that other armature there will come off, and then hopefully I can just unbolt these bolts around here and pop the case off. no way you guys made this so this can't come out. This is frustrating. This is very frustrating. Hammers are being thrown. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Come on. Okay. Silicone sounds terrifying. All right. I'm gonna get this bar out of here. That way I can lift this whole cover off, and then I'll get you guys in here. I took this bar out. Should have done that a long time ago. There's only 4 bolts and they came right out. And we're in. Smells like transmission fluid, which is never the best. Good news. Sorry for the lack of light here. We are rapidly running out of it. But let me give you a little tour of what we're looking at here once I situate myself. Here's what we're looking at. This is your transmission. Don't ask me what gears go to what, because I could not tell you. But what we're looking at is these slots here. 1, 2, 3. Those are where your shifter forks sit in. And those gears are the ones that move back and forth to engage the gears below them. Here's the good news. Don't hate me, because they are a little stuck-ish, but not really. If I give them a little tap, they are moving. Okay. Some of them move a little more freely than others. Okay, but everything is free. That's the good news. So now let me take you down to the shifting mechanism and we'll look at that. Here's our gear shift. This is our, top to the transmission. And on the back side here, these are your shifter forks. Okay, remember those 3 slots I was looking at? 1, 2, 3. And the problem we're having here is it's relatively clean in here, but down here where everything butts together and everything's supposed to move, these forks are supposed to slide back and forth in these rails. She is very rusty and crusty. So with that said, the lack of movement that I'm having is just those shifter rails. They're seized up, they're rusted up. So the plan is I'm gonna take that home with me. I'm gonna check the weather, make sure it's not supposed to rain tonight. Take that whole assembly home with me, clean it up, get it all freely moving. I'm gonna bring some grease back with me and some sealant where I can seal the case back up, and we're gonna throw it all back together, and that should fix our problem. Great news. After that, I'm assuming I'll be able to shift into gear and we're gonna be ready to haul this thing away. That in itself is gonna be a whole nother process, one step at a time here. Let's get the top of this case home, get everything moving freely again, all cleaned up. And from there we can button this thing back up, run it again, see if she shifts into gear. So I'll see you then. Okay, so it's a little crude, but we got it working. So right now I'm in neutral, which I wasn't even able to do this before. What I figured out what happened was it was stuck in first gear, but everything was out of place. I don't know how to describe it. But now I have it oriented in the correct way, so I have full range of motion in neutral. And I'm sorry you can't see the forks, but I don't have a better way of doing this. And it's not all the way free yet, but it is coming, so all I have to do is kind of put some pressure on it, give it a whack. That's first gear. Get out of first gear, to neutral. And actually this is even much better than it was before I even pressed that record button. It took a few more whacks than that, so it is coming out of it. Over and up then is third gear, or I'm sorry, second gear, and over and back then would be third gear. See, that one's still a little tight, but it's all working. So, chalk that one up as a W. I'm gonna clean this up, make sure my surface is all dry, and I'm gonna get some heavy lube to sit in these little roller balls and the springs and all that, just to help all this read up. But I think this is good. So moving on, let's get back to the dozer. Back for another day on this thing. Today, I am running out of time already, just because I'm coming from another project, but you can probably tell the sun's going down. I probably got about an hour and 20 minutes before it's going to be dark again. So, I've got my 2 hydraulic hoses made up that I can replace, so hopefully we can start getting the boom to go up and down. And then I have the top of my transmission case here. So, I'm going to slap those 2 things on real quick, and we're going to see if she works. Okay, if I remember correctly, which I looked at a picture, so I do remember correctly, bottom goes to bottom, top goes to top. Come on, be quick.
I got you $1.
You gotta be quicker than that.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Click. Shouldn't be as messy. Click. Click. All done. Easy peasy, except for the massive spill that I just made, which I am sorry for.
How dare you!
Ugh. Honestly, I'm really not that low. Might as well top her off. Hopefully without spilling. Well, I am officially an idiot on 2 accounts. One, because I put these lines in and spewed hydraulic oil all over the place. So the lines and the oil are in my way. It would have been easier to do all this without them there. But 2, more importantly, I knew I was forgetting something at home. I forgot the through bar and the levers for the clutch brakes. I won't be able to test out the clutches to see if I can turn, but I am pretty confident that those are, if this was seized up, those are going to be seized up too. So I'm not really expecting to be able to turn. Basically what I'm saying is I'm going to chalk it up as a win if I can just go forward and reverse to get it on a trailer. But for now, I'm just going to throw this on. I'm not going to seal it up because I'm going to have to, remember this was in the way of getting that bar through there, so there's no sense in me sealing this up just to take it off again. In essence, I'm just going to throw her down and see what happens. Whoa. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah, this is gonna be so good. Nice. That's all there is to it. Let's prep this thing to get started. Another wasp. Still hanging around. All right. Moment of truth. Let's give her a whirl. Now I don't have my seat anymore. Oh boy, this is gonna be tough. I kind of want to sit on the battery. Probably just better off standing. All right, son. What's going on? Speak to me. Plugs are hooked up. Ground is grounding. Do I look like a man that's been crawling around in places that he should not be? Idiot me. I checked spark and had it. So I checked fuel at the carburetor. Had it, dropped the bolt. Luckily had this one to kind of half plug it. And I'm down here crawling on my hands and knees with a magnet and a flashlight, just looking for a sign from the Lord. He's testing me today because it's right there. So I'm gonna throw this plug back in. Verified I have fuel. Okay, carb issues. My float is not operating correctly. So here we are, tearing down. And I wanted to show you, just in case you didn't know how a float works. See how that just stuck up in place and then just snapped back down? This is sticky, and that can't be sticky. It needs to operate freely like it is right now. So I'm just gonna kinda...
Stop it. Stop what? You're talking about me in Morse code.
You know, wrap a tap on it. By the way, I tried whacking the base of this to get it to move, and that wasn't working, so here we are. Let's turn the fuel on and you'll be able to see how this works. There we go. Okay, so here comes the fuel. Okay, and as it rises, the float will come up. And yeah, it should shut it off. Let's try this again, but with fuel this time. That's much better. That's diesel. How about a little bit of... Oh yeah, there's our blade now. Alright, baby. Good, alright. How about reverse? There we go. Oh, I forgot I still had my tools sitting here. I lost a wrench, not sure where that went, but right now I don't care. Nice.
That thing does smell so good. Every time you hit the
Fuel is on. Let that fill up. Grounding wire is grounded. It's the only thing that is unreliable is that carburetor, so. Ready?
good sign.
Yeah, sign of life at least. Come on.
Ting Wong.
I don't got diesel.
No?
I think it's my, you want to take a picture?
What are you thinking?
Wondering if my grounding isn't grounding all the way. Who needs gloves? All right. All right, having an issue switching this over from gas to diesel. So I think the issue is in our grounding mechanism here. So we're just gonna spray her down. Give her a couple whacks and run it through its cycle. Maybe not drop my hammer. There we go.
Got it?
Maybe.
You want me to move the lever?
Yeah, go ahead and cycle it.
I felt it engage.
Yeah, okay, now I'll let it go. got that PB blaster over there. Do it again.
Yeah, that's engaging good now.
Working now. Try again.
Here we go. Problem is my belt fell off, so I don't have cooling right now, so we're just going to try and throw it on the trailer. Forward. I mean, we're better off just reposition. It's running now, so we're better off repositioning. I can shut it down. I can pull it all the way up to the garage. It's getting hot, so let's cut it there for now.
I cannot believe that worked.
I mean, it worked well enough to get it on, but we are hanging. We got it.
All right.
Yeah. Hitting the road in this thing. It's definitely not ideal, and we'll go through more of that later, but I think it's the best we're gonna get it. And I got my buddy Stone driving because he's got a lot more experience than I do, just in case. So I got him sitting in the truck. I'm gonna drive behind, close behind. We're just gonna take it slow. Got about an hour north, and then we'll be home. Fingers crossed. Should have known. Here's the deal. I got her stuck. The whole trip went great. We'll get into that in a little bit, but right now I need to turn my attention to getting this thing off the trailer. What I wanted to do, the reason why I'm back here, is I wanted to pull forward and loop this thing into the corner and pull it straight off the trailer right here, because I can obviously only go one direction. I can't turn, so I wanted to get the trailer exactly where I wanted. And we've been getting some rain, and it's actually the next day after I got stuck, and it rained again last night. But I got to get this thing off the trailer. My problem is, and the reason why I really wanted to try and get this thing off, is if you remember, she's over on this side of the trailer, and of course the way that the truck's sitting, it's leaning this way. And I got news for you. That scares the shit out of me. If I roll that thing, it's lights out. I'm basically making a deal with the devil here by attempting to get this thing off the trailer. I'm thinking I'm really risking rolling off the trailer, and if that happens, I mean, there's no ROPS, obviously. So if I roll it, I'm ejecto-cedo, cuz. Ejecto-cedo, cuz! And I think that's the end of Nock Ranch there. So my plan is, I don't have a plan, but I'm gonna see if I can't throw these ramps down, start up the dozer, and see how comfy I can be up there, but it's not looking good. Come on, baby. All right, don't have much time. I don't like rushing, but not the country. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, so remember, I kicked this over, which is great, but that means this side is gonna be way hanging over. So that's scary, but I'm going forward, I'm not going backwards. So let's see if I can't fire this thing up again and see what happens when I start tracking forward. Hopefully it stays on track. She's home. Slightly less nerve-wracking than the position it was in before. I definitely got it to budge a little bit more off camera. Let's nestle her into her home. Well, I'm not particularly thrilled about the spot that it's sitting, but hey, it's back here, it's off the trailer. It was my own mistake. I knew it was going to be soft back there, but I've never driven back there before, so I didn't know how far the millings went and all that stuff. You know, I'm still new to this property, so stupid mistake. Shouldn't have gambled. You know, I knew what was going to happen if I got stuck, and it went through my mind, and I figured, hey, I'll probably be fine. Well, I lost that bet. So in any manner, the dozer is here. She is home. She is safe, and the position that it's in isn't terrible. You know, it's kind of cocked in the way that I wanted it to be, but I would have rather it been a little bit further over, because it's, you know, if I need to get something tight in here, which I probably won't, you know, it is kind of sticking out. But this will just motivate me to get to work on the clutches. I did drive it back and forth a little bit, stomping on the pedals just to see if I could get something to break. And I did get the left side to break loose, but it still wasn't doing anything. So I'm at least a little happy that the pedal broke loose. That means things are still wanting to move, but we're gonna see just how bad everything is another time. Right now, we need to bring this one to a close. Got to start thinking of a name for this thing. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please do me a favor, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. You can follow me on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on the TikTokies. A lot more work to do to this thing, and a lot more coming up on the channel. So with all that said, I'll wrap it up and close it out here. But always remember, don't be afraid to grab that wrench, get after it yourself. See you next time.